Subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. You tuning into my channel. Alright, let me get this ready. Um, I want to talk about the ongoing negotiations between Keith One-Time Thurman and Virgil Ortiz. That's the current state right now of what's going on behind the scenes. It's nothing set in stone yet, but the rumor is that they're trying to get the fight between Virgil Ortiz, Oscar De La Hoya, Golden Boy Promotions. Is trying to get the fight done between Keith One-Time Thurman. It's not an easy fight, but I feel like Keith One-Time Thurman hasn't been as consistent as he was earlier in his career, and I've always been a fan of Keith One-Time Thurman. I believe Keith One-Time Thurman is still dangerous, and he does have boxing pedigree, so he can give Ortiz problem. So, it's a 50-50 fight, and I think that's a winnable fight, but at the same time, it might not be winnable for Virgil Ortiz, depending on which Keith One-Time Thurman shows up. Because Keith One-Time Thurman, when he's determined and he's hungry and he's focused and he's not hurt or injured, he is a problem. But we don't know what Keith One-Time Thurman is going to come in the ring against Virgil Ortiz. But the rumor is to actually make the fight in October. And as far as Keyshawn Davis, he's going to stay out of the ring for the rest of 2025. He's going to reflect on, his character and working on himself and what he needs to work on. I'll give you more details on that later. But Keyshawn Davis believes that Abdullah Mason is going to have trouble with, what's the guy that he's fighting, the undefeated? I think he's 17-0 with 16 kills, somewhere around there. And it's going to be like two undefeated fighters on the undercard of David Benavidez. Abdullah Mason is going to fight Noakes. I don't know what his last name is. Somebody can help me with the name. I'm not too familiar with these fighters from the Europeans. Like I don't really follow them like that until they come over here and they make a splash in the mainstream in America and fight somebody that we know. How you doing, Javier Neogiyuva? How you doing? Subscribe to that channel. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to my channel. Tony also knows boxing. So there's a rumor that, well, actually, Oscar De La Hoya is trying to make the fight between Virgil Ortiz and Keith One-Time Thurman. That's a good name. But the thing is, sometimes you got to get the fighter the belt. And, top rank Bob Arum was able to get Xanazias the belt. So sometimes it's better to get your fighter the belt instead of getting him the names, because I do believe that Virgil Ortiz has the better names on his resume, and he's actually fought the better fighters than Xanazias. But I still think that Xanazias could outbox him. And Timothy Bradley has said it that Xanazias has too much skills for Virgil Ortiz. He said that, and I believe that. He, that's the only fighter that I could see Xanazias fighting right now and beating. He's not a champion, so it's a good fight to make down the road. But we know what Xanazias is going to do. He's going to defend his belt in Puerto Rico, most likely against Giovanni Santillán. I don't know yet, but we'll see. Javier Nescoviuva, I have to go to sleep. Bye. Love your stories. I appreciate you, my brother. Thanks for tuning in. And you can check it out tomorrow when you wake up in the morning. But subscribe to that channel. I know you probably subscribed already, but whoever's tuning in right now, subscribe to that channel. Tony also knows boxing. I appreciate you, my brother Javier. Have a good night's sleep. Everybody that tunes into my channel is my family. So right now I'm going to interview, like in a few minutes actually, I'm going to interview Yankiel Rivera from Puerto Rico. He's 7-0 with 3 KOs. Very humble brother, very talented, very skillful fighter. And he's been fighting undefeated fighters back to back. And now he's going to fight the undefeated fighter. And he's going to be a champion that he's fighting. And this is going to be his first championship fight. So tune in. I'm going to post that video on later on. Yankiel Rivera versus Angelino Cordova from Venezuela. He's 19-0. Angelino Cordova is 19-0 with 1 draw and 12 KOs. And Yankiel Rivera is 7-0 with 3 KOs. I'm gonna interview him in a few minutes, actually. So that's why I'm trying not to rush this video too much. I want to give you the best content. Um, and it appears that that's what's gonna happen. Virgil Ortiz is gonna fight Keith One Time Thurman, and Bam Bam Rodriguez was added to the card of David Benavidez on November 22nd. As far as, and it's official now. Subriel Matias is gonna fight officially. Now it's official. He's gonna fight Dalton Smith. So the rumors of him fighting on Amanda Serrano's undercard, that's not gonna happen. That was talked about, but it didn't happen. So it's official now. Jose Sulaiman wants Subriel Matias to defend against the #1 contender because of Eddie Hearn's fighter Dalton Smith, and then Turki Al-Sheikh is promoting it, and he's working with he's working with Eddie Hearns. Turki Al-Sheikh, that's his fighter. That's Eddie Hearn's fighter, Dalton Smith. So Subriel Matias is 0-1 against Eddie Hearn's fighter, but he's gonna get revenge and beat one of Eddie Hearn's fighters. I hope that he wins this fight, because you never know that, the youth, the younger fighter. He's 28 years old, Dalton Smith. He hasn't fought anybody like Subriel Matias, but I believe that Subriel Matias should win this fight based on his style, and I would just think that that he would win this fight. But you never know. A lot of things can happen in boxing, and he's an undefeated fighter. But a lot of those fighters from England, they really are not as good as advertised. So we'll see. We'll see. He looks decent. He looks skillful. He looks powerful. But the relentlessness of Matias might be too much for him. But I'm not making any predictions right now. And officially, Suleiman of the WBC said that he would like for him to fight Pitbull Cruz, because Pitbull Cruz expressed the desire to fight Subriel Matias as well as his father, because they know that the clock is ticking on Pitbull Cruz, because Pitbull Cruz, he's not always like winning fights. Sometimes he loses, sometimes he wins. He lost against Valenzuela. He beat Rolly Romero, but Rolly Romero's it's a hype job, but he just has power. He's just one-dimensional, but he's very powerful, like Pitbull Cruz. But I think Subriel Matias has more skills than him. Subriel Matias has power, but he has more skills than Pitbull Cruz. If you want to be honest and realistic, they want to make that fight. Jose, I don't know if his first name is Jose, but his last name is Suleiman, and he wants to first get the Dalton Smith fight out of the way, with Turki Al-Sheikh promoting it with Eddie Hearns. That's his fighter. And then he wants to get the rematch with, he wants to honor the rematch clause that was agreed upon between Puello and Subriel Matias. So that fight is going to be done after the Dalton Smith versus Subriel Matias fight. So the winner of that fight will fight Puello, Alberto Puello. They'll honor the rematch, but they're not going to honor the rematch immediately. So that's what's going on. So I'm thinking if the Pitbull Cruz gets done, is realistically, I'm just making an assessment. He's fighting November 22nd, Dalton Smith, Subriel Matias, which is going to be a great stacked card with Abdullah Mason, with Noakes on the undercard, another undefeated fighter fighting Abdullah Mason, which Keyshawn Davis doesn't think that. He thinks that Abdullah Mason's going to have trouble with his rival's power on that day. We'll see, but he didn't predict anything. And I feel like on that card, realistically, like Subriel Matias will have to fight Dalton Smith, beat him November 22nd. Then realistically, to make another fight with Alberto Puello, if he does it immediately, it will be probably like summer, January, February, March. The earliest February or the latest March. And then after March, let's see, April, May, June, July. So I would think realistically, either June or July or August, they could make the Pitbull Cruz fight after all the smoke is cleared with Dalton Smith and Alberto Puello. That's how I see it. If it transpires that way, I think it would transpire more or less that way if the Pitbull Cruz was to get made. But it would be made in August or July, somewhere around there. That's my assessment. I don't know for sure, but yeah, that's how I see it happening. And another interesting thing about the fight on August 23rd, Yankiel Rivera versus Angelino Cordova. The trainer of Angelino Cordova is 0-1 against Puerto Rican fighters. He trained Alberto Puello to fight Subriel Matias. He has the same trainer as Alberto Puello, Salas, Angelino Cordova. So he's a Dominican trainer, and the fighter that he's training to fight another Puerto Rican fighter in Yankiel Rivera, Angelino Cordova, is from Venezuela. But he is 0-1 against Puerto Rican fighters, so he's probably trying to be 1-1 against Puerto Rican fighters. But I don't think he's going to succeed because Yankiel Rivera is the truth, and I'm going to interview him, and I feel like it's going to be an interesting matchup. And you know, Yankiel Rivera is very skillful. He uses angles, he uses timing, he's fast, he's powerful, he has defense, he has offense, he has it all, footwork. He's the total package. So look forward to that interview with Yankiel Rivera, which I'm going to interview him in a few minutes, and I'm going to do it live, but I'm going to post it later on my YouTube so you guys can enjoy that interview. And check out the Abisael Cotto interview that I interviewed him a week ago. And Abisael Cotto is another future champ. He's gonna fight September 12th. I don't know the opponent that he's fighting, but he's gonna fight September 12th. Abisael Cotto on pay-per-view in Puerto Rico. Support that brother. That brother is talented. He is the future star, and he's the future champion. Abisael Cotto. He's 8-0 with 7 KOs. Check out that interview on my previous videos, and subscribe to that channel. Tony Also Knows Boxing. Subscribe to that channel. Yes. Let me see. If I had an offer, I would give him a blue offer. Johnny died. Number 2. If I had an offer, I would give him a blue Auto Pop. Okay. All right. Thanks for tuning into the channel. Subscribe to that channel. I'm gonna leave in a few because I gotta interview Yankiel Rivera. But it's been great having you guys tuning into my channel. Subscribe to that channel. Don't be afraid to subscribe. If you want the truth, you will subscribe. If you're afraid of the truth, you're gonna run away and you're not gonna want to embrace what I'm saying. But what I'm saying will liberate you, give you great entertainment and great joy for the rest of your day, because that's what you want, inspiration. You want to be inspired when you watch a channel. You want to hear the truth, and you want to be not only entertained, but you also want to receive something that's authentic, is giving you the best version of myself. So yeah, so that's what I see happening. But with the Yankiel Rivera versus Cordova, the trainer that's training Angelino Cordova, that's fighting Yankiel Rivera, he's the defending champion, and his trainer is 0-1. Is 0-1 against Puerto Rican fighters. He trained Alberto Puello, and he lost to Subriel Matias, the Puerto Rican fighter. So he's 0-1. So he's trying to be 1-1 with Angelino Cordova when he fights Yankiel Rivera. But I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that Yankiel Rivera is gonna dominate him, and he's gonna knock him out, or either dominate him a unanimous decision. I think he can knock him out. He's that good. Check it out. August 23rd, MVP Promotions. Yankiel Rivera from Puerto Rico, from Bayamón, Puerto Rico, is going to fight Angelino Cordova for the WBA Championship. Check that out. And I'm going to interview him right now in a few minutes. My channel's growing. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. Keep subscribing. Keep tuning in. Help me get to 1,000. I appreciate everybody that shows the love and tunes into my channel and supports me. Thank you. Thank you. Peace. I'm going to interview Yankiel Rivera in a few minutes. Thank you for all your support, and stay tuned for that interview. I'm going to post it later. Tony Also Knows Boxing. You're tuning into my channel. We're going to the top. I speak Spanish and English. I'm not like all those other content creators that are Puerto Rican that don't know how to speak Spanish. I'm not like those content creators that are Puerto Rican but don't know how to speak Spanish. Yo sé hablar español también. So, you know, we could all network and build together. But I'm just saying, I don't need a translator. I can speak Spanish and English, and I can interview the fighters in Spanish and in English, because I'm Boricua to the core, baby. But anyway, it's all good. I support everybody, but at the same time, I don't need a translator. Tony also knows boxing. I speak Spanish and English. No translator over here. This is the real, authentic, unadulterated Boricua. Peace. Tony also knows boxing. Subscribe to that channel. I'm going to interview Yankiel Rivera before his championship fight. So you got it over here at Tony also knows boxing first. Peace. Subscribe to that channel. Don't be afraid. Only real